All right, so today's live stream is about my hair loss, timeline, and recovery. And basically, I want to talk about different things that can cause issues regarding inflammation, and especially things that apply to me when I was losing my hair and I had scalp inflammation. So there are several things that can cause inflammation, and it is basically synthetic hats, sweat staying on the scalp for a long time. I remember myself, for example, I was going to this gym and I kind of keep sweat and I didn't wash my scalp afterwards for even for a few days, and it kind of builds up problems on the scalp and mess up balance on the scalp, and it's not optimal. And I also noticed that washing your scalp basically with conditioner is also an issue. You should not do that because conditioner is meant to be used for hair, not for the scalp, right? So you should not do that, and it can lead to problems on the scalp. And washing hair with harsh shampoo is other problems that often occurs. And the other one is applying oils that clog the pores. Basically, you need to be sure what kind of oils you're applying in your scalp, because often they are basically not. If the scalp is unbalanced and you start applying oils and you don't know what you are doing, it can lead to more imbalances and more clogged pores and more inflammation. So you need to be careful. And allergies to topicals, basically applying like hairsprays or gels or even shampoos, right? You need to be basically find out what kind of allergies you may have, all those kind of things, because inflammation and allergy is kind of correlated, right? And if you don't address and solve them, they can cause problems. And here is a quite quick picture of how the scalp basically looks like, or the skin under the scalp compared to the skin other areas of the body, right? And you can see basically that there is a difference. Like a skin on the scalp is much thinner than on other areas where is no hair. And there is a lot of more things going on the scalp as well, right? Compared to the places where there is no hair. So what this basically means is that if there is a problem, then on the scalp it will be a much bigger problem, and you basically need to scalp is a complicated place, right? So you need to be careful what you are doing there, what you are applying there, how you take care of it, and so on, right? Because it's easy to get problems like too much sebum, inflamed hair follicles, and buildups and inflammation and so on, right? So it is important that you take care of environment your scalp because it can cause issues. And in this picture, basically, I want to show you kind of how DHT works regarding follicles, right? Because let's say you have DHT in the body, right? And you have hair follicles, and if there is any problems with the scalp, then DHT builds up around hair follicles and causes problem, right? So that's why it's so important that your scalp is without inflammation, without other issues like build-up sebum, because it will cause problems and it will basically lead to more hair fall, right? So you need to address DHT both internally and externally, right? It's not enough to address just internally, but you also need to address it externally. And miniaturization is a question I kind of often get asked about, and I had miniaturization of my hair as well, so I can answer it. And basically what happens is that when one is having miniaturization is that hair become thinner and lighter in color and smaller, and slowly they kind of disappear. And it can happen quite quickly. For example, if you're not taking care of DHT, if you're not taking care of inflammation in your scalp, then miniaturization is something that will happen very fast. Right? So it's important that you actually take care of it, because if you keep it for too long, it will be more harder to reverse. But it's possible to reverse as long as you take action fast when you notice that there is miniaturization of your hair going on. And I will show you later pictures compared to miniaturization and vellus hairs that have been growing out, so you kind of know the difference. But if you do have miniaturization of the hair and you're not taking care of either DHT or inflammation of the scalp, then it's very important that you actually do something about it. Right? Time is essential there. Yes. And you need to understand and find out what is the main cause behind that inflammation, right? Because it is, let's say, if you apply, like I did in the past, I applied the steroid creams and they helped with symptoms, inflammation, and my itchiness kind of went away. But then I stopped using steroid creams, and itchiness came back again, or inflammation came back again. And I did not address underlying issues behind what was actually happening on my scalp. Right? I just kind of addressed it with topical steroids, and they did help, but after some time, it was not enough. Right? So, and also topical steroids have side effects and other things, so one cannot use them a long time. So one needs to basically find out the root cause. And when you have found out the root cause, then you can start to stimulate regrow, and it's possible to get results, right? But you need to find the root cause, because applying steroid creams or using hexanol shampoo, yes, they work and they do help with inflammation, but they are not long-term solution, right? Because if you don't address root cause, that inflammation will always return and cause problems. And here is basically values here, right? Small values here, and here is a new regrow, right? You can see this difference between regrow from the regrow stimulation compared to values here that are typically seen in on the scalp, right? So you can see that the values here that are growing out, they are much darker and they are stronger compared to values here that are very light in color. And you can also see if miniaturized here or here become miniaturized, they also look something similar like this, right? So if you see this kind of here popping out in your scalp, then you know that there is things that are going in the right direction, that you are most likely getting regrow, right? But if you see a lot of this one, a lot of blonde values here that they are look very weak and so on, then you know that there is most likely a problem. And here is my hair when I was 17, I guess, or something, right? You can see how thick they were actually at that time. They are full and thick. So this is my hair back then. So. And my hair loss happened very fast, right? I had a serious DHT problem. I will show you pictures of what happened with my hair when I started taking finasteride. But I guess I also had some microinflammation going on at that time as well, right? Because I remember when I was younger, I didn't take care of my diet. I was eating a lot of oily foods. I was not washing my scalp regularly. When I did wash my scalp, I did wash it with harsh shampoos, like the ones you can buy in wine stores, right? Those kind of things. So, and I was using a lot of hairsprays. I was using hats, especially in winter time, right? So all those things kind of contributed to my hair loss. Right? It's always a combination of things. Of course, there are some lucky guys who have just kind of DHT problem, and then they take DHT blocker, like let's say like finasteride, and they solve their issue. But in my case, there are several issues that are going on, and they kind of contradicted each other and made things much worse. So. And you can see how fast basically my hair started to fall out. Right? This is like 3 years later when I was, or 4 years later when I was around in my 20s, early 20s. And I started to kind of comb them downwards to kind of hide my thinning areas. And this was 2004, 4 years before I started with finasteride. You can see that my temples were very thin at that time. And this is from, I think this one is from early 2008, and this is like middle of 2008. Right? You can see how thin my temples were at that time. There was not much going on, and you also can notice that my hair were very weak at that time. Right? Temples were quite empty, and my hair itself was weak. They're weak in the color, and basically what it means is that my hair will start to miniaturize. Right? So this is basically, you can see what happens when one don't take care of DHT and one don't take care of inflammation on the scalp. And you can also see that I had some acne outbreak and pimples. Right? So it's typical signs that there is something wrong going on. And I often got those acne outbreaks and pimples in my temple area, and it was quite annoying. Right? And I think one of the things that were kind of making it worse because it was a styling product as well. Because I applied styling products, I didn't wash my hair for a few days, and then it's kind of increased just problem more and more. Right? So you need to be careful. And this one is also around I think late 2008. This is from 2007. This is 2008. I think around September time. You can see that for me it was becoming more and more hard to cover it up and hide my baldness, right? Because I was diffuse thinning, so it was very hard to do something about my hair. When you have diffuse thinning, you are kind of end up losing hair all over the scalp, not just like a temporary or a crown, right? It happens all over. So here you can see that how my crown started to thin out. This was again 2007, and this was October 2008, right before I started with finasteride or Propecia in my case. And for you guys who wonder, I microdose Propecia, and I microdose to 0.5 mg a day. This is again one more picture of closed up. You can see how empty my scalp was, right? At that time. It was October 2008. And after around, I would say like 7 or 8 months, when I started basically with Propecia, this is how my hair started to look like, right? Basically right away, I started to get results. It was from late April, May 2009, and you can see that my hair are filling in very fast. This is from December, summer to the 2010, summer 2010. More improvements. And that time I was using basically, what I was using was that I was using, let's see, I was taking Propecia 0.5. I was, I had regular shampoo at that time. I didn't think that much about inflammation, but inflammation most likely was a problem at that time as well. What more I was doing? I was taking supplements. I did do some diet changes, those kind of small things. And basically it did help some, right? And you can see that in 2011, and this is basically right before I started to lose hair again because of scalp inflammation. I got a serious outbreak. And you can see that I was basically able to fill in quite nicely, right? My color of my hair improved. So basically it means that it is possible to reverse, not just like reverse hair loss, but also hair can become strong again, right? And this, in 2011, my hair was quite strong. I can also mention that at those stages here, I was using like onion juice. I remember I was applying onion juice for 6 months, and I think it contributed that my hair become even worse. So you guys need to be careful what you're actually applying on the scalp. It was the times. It was for me. It was wild time because I was applying onion juice. I was applying rice water. I was applying. I was applying a bunch of stuff, right? I was using aloe vera gel, so many things, right? But basically, the end result was that I was thinning even more fast, and my hair become very light in color, right? This is like a 1 year difference between those two pictures. And in 1 year's time, you can see how they become so much more thin, and they also did lose the color, right? So you need to be careful. You need to find out the root cause behind your problem and actually right way to address it, right? Because apparently applying onion juice for almost 6 months and a bunch of other things did not work for me, right? And it basically made my things even worse. And I think at this time I was also applying around the same time. I was also using hair lasers. After onion juice failed, I was trying hair lasers, but they also didn't solve my problem. And let's see. Okay, so this was 2011, and this was basically how my my hair were looking like, right? So I had a very nice recovery from this time to this time, just by Propecia, like a Minitarization shampoo, but it was from pharmacy, I think, so it was not that bad shampoos. And supplements, and what more I was doing? I think I was doing clay masks as well at that time, like a clay you apply on the scalp and it kind of hardens the skin. I was doing those as well. So and a few other things that I don't remember anymore. So, but in any case, you can also see that I had a good recovery, but I also had issues with pimples and acne on my scalp and my hairline. You can see the redness. So I was not there was still some kind of problem going on, right? And what happened next is that my problem became bigger and bigger, right? You can see the shadows of my hair because they were so thin. And what happened next is that I was hit by inflammation in a few months, like in around four months. Basically, my hair started to thin very fast out again, right? And they become lighter in color and become fewer of them, and it was easy to kind of see like a light, when light was shining my scalp, right? And here's a picture of me in I think in 2011, summer 2011, when I was using Topic. because inflammation was taking so hard hits that I could not hide my hair loss anymore. And I was basically applying a lot of topic here, right? And then I did some recovery at this time. I think that was actually the time when I started with hydrocortisone. I was starting with different steroid creams, like as the ones you need to have prescription for. I was also using 2% Getzenol shampoo, like a Nizoral 2% you need prescription for. And what more I was doing? I was also doing minoxidil a little bit at this stage as well, but problem was that my scalp got more irritated from it, so I could not use it. But in any case, around this time, I also had some recovery. There was so many ups and downs, and I will show you afterwards in pictures, because I did not address underlying causes of my inflammation. So, but like you can see the brown stuff here, and it was basically a topic that I was applying, hair fibers that I was applying my scalp to hide my hair loss. And it was summertime, so it was like raining down my scalp. Right? At the time, I remember I could not understand why people were looking at my hair, because my hair fibers were actually dissolving on the skin. Okay, and here's a picture of my hair closed up. Again, those up and downs when I had the regrow, and then the regrow reversed itself, and I started to lose hair again because I didn't have control, right? This is 2012 again. There was some improvement, right? Some improvement, but again, I was losing ground. 2013. So there were basically a lot of ups and downs all the time, right? And here's basically my timeline when I finally understood what is happening, and also understood that I need to kind of be more careful with steroid creams and like keto shampoos, all this stuff, because they did help me, but they did not address the root cause. Right? And for me, the root cause was basically hair follicles that are very inflamed, too much sebum, too much buildups in my scalp, clogged pores. Basically, what happened is that when I was losing my hair, at that time, let's see, at that time I had yellowish endings to it, and there was a lot of them. Right? So I was having too much sebum on the scalp, extensive sebum production, too much oiliness on the scalp, all the things you can think of that were happening in my scalp, basically. And it caused that I was feeling itchiness, redness, all the stuff that can happen. Tension buildup when I was eating some kind of foods, like when I was, for example, had a diet with a lot of oiliness or a lot of sugar, I would feel tension build up my scalp and so on. And so there was a lot of things going on. And when I understood that I need to, for example, avoid oily foods or have a clean diet, and also that I need to take care of my scalp and find out what is happening there without using steroid creams, without using Getzenol shampoos, this is basically what happened, right? And when I understood it, when I solved my scalp problems, I started with minoxidil and dermaroller in my case back in 2013. And in December 2013, you can see how nice my hair are looking compared to beginning of 2013. It was like in, I think, February or something, 2013. And in December, my hair was like this. In January 2014, my hair were improving even more, and it just kind of kept improving, right? It was no stop here in Regrow. And you can see this difference, right? Compared to here and compared to how bad it was. You can also see that color was totally different, right? Because when hair are falling out and the miniaturized, the color also become much lighter. And it's so easy to pull them out, right? Nowadays, for me, it's quite hard to pull out hair, but at that time, when I was having inflammation, when scalp was totally unbalanced, it was so easy to pull out hair from my scalp. So here are a few red flags to look for. And basically what you need to look for is if you have acne and pimples in your scalp, irritation, discomfort, if there's too much shedding, redness, dryness, itchiness, tension, sebum, other buildups. And you also need to look into what kind of hair follicles you are having. When you lose hair, you need to look if the hair follicles have like yellow endings, white endings, red endings, right? There are several things that can be going on. And even if it's yellow endings, that they can be is it yellow, like a soft yellow ending, or is it hard yellow ending, right? So there are different things that can happen, and you need to basically find out what is your thing, what is happening on the scalp, because if you address it with a wrong treatment, it will lead to more hair fall, right? And it will fire up inflammation, and that will lead to more hair fall. So you need to be you need to understand what's happening there and address it with the right treatment, right? So this is so important because treatment needs to be customized. You cannot address these scalp problems or these hair loss issues with the same treatment for everybody, right? And I know everybody wants to have a simple solution, easy way to stop hair fall and regrow it back again. But you need to customize it, and you need to understand what is your individual thing, right? Because everybody has different scalp conditions, everybody has different balance in scalp, how much oiliness there are, how much dryness there are, right? Different hair profiles, all those things, right? Different nutrition profiles, like different deficiencies. So all those things count, right? And if you just, let's say, go to forums and address it like for somebody somebody else has had results, it won't be a wrong way to do it, right? Because you are not addressing it from an individual standpoint, right? This is kind of my point. And by not addressing and solving underlying causes, one needs to take more and more extreme action to regrow and keep hair, right? So basically, if you don't address it right way, you end up taking to the street daily, or you end up doing some harsh treatments to your scalp, right? So you need to basically find out what is happening and what is the root cause behind your problem, right? And this is the only way to actually solve it and getting results. You need to address underlying causes, not just doing it by using steroid creams or casino shampoos, all those things that can kind of helps, but they at the same time also don't address underlying issues that are going on in your scalp. And here is one of the guys in my program that was some time ago. And I just wanted to share basically what happened in his case. He is in his early 30s, and you can see how nicely he recovered. And he had a crown area problem, and he had also had a hairline thinning as well. And basically, you can see how his hairline was compared to where it is now. And also his crown improved significantly. And it happened like over 10 months time, right? So it did take some time. And let's see, this guy here, a very nice improvement, more diffuse thinning, crown and the hairline, but very nice recovery in 6 months times. And this one here is basically the guy who I did make a video with. I did make a interview about experience of taking my program. And you can also find his picture below that video. And you can see also that he had a serious crown thinning compared where it is now. And also hairline and temples has improved significantly. And it happened after around 9 or 10 months, I guess. So, and you can also notice that the quality is here, right? Because when, like I said, when the hair are falling out, when they minitarize, they become thinner and lighter in color, right? And you can see how nicely they look like compared to where they were when they were falling out. Temples have improved very, very nicely over those 10 months. So don't risk your hair, right? This is my kind of point. Time is essential. You need to find out what is happening and need to address it as fast as possible, especially if there is inflammation in the picture, right? With DHT, if you have just DHT problems, then you have more time, right? But if you're having like an inflammation-related hair loss, you need to act as fast as possible because hair just will keep falling out as long as you don't find out what is happening and address it, right? Because like, for example, in my case, I was having a lot of ups and downs over the years. I was having, since I was applying, let's say, steroid creams, they helped some for some time, and then the hair loss returned again, and I stopped with them, right? Because steroid creams have side effects, and one cannot use them for long time periods. And for you guys who want to know more about Rapid Regrow program, it's basically a program that gives you structure and plan, so you know exactly what you're doing, and it's customized after your situation, right? So you basically, I find out what is happening in your case, what kind of scalp problems you are having, what is your main root cause of your hair loss, and so on, right? I have tests and other things that I use to find out what is actually happening in your scalp and how to address your hair loss problem. And I also give you strategy and right action steps. So basically, I show you how to do things, how to apply things, what to take, when to take, how to structure your nutrition plan, diet plan, right? Because all those things are individual, right? For example, if you are having deficiency in something, then you need to address that problem. Right? Let's say you are deficiency in iron, right? Or you are deficiency in zinc or vitamin D, right? We need to find out what is actually the reason why you're deficient in it and address that problem. And those things are individual. It's not now just taking, let's say, biotin and omega-3 and some amino acids and hope it will solve the problem. Yes, it can help, but more smart way to do it is basically finding out what is your main problem, right? And basically finding out what your kind of goals you want, right? Do you want to stop your hair fall, or you want to have regrow, right? Because there are different strategies, different ways to address this problem, right? So we need to find out what is actually you're after, what is your goals. And of course, optimizing everything is that you actually get perfect results, right? And I also show you how to manage this thing for after you have done the program, to be able to have a regrow, maximum regrow, and also be able to maintain that regrow long term, right? So because you don't want to have results for a few months and then have declining or reversed hair fall again, right? You want to regrow hair and keep them long term, so you don't need to worry about it and have a control. And this is basically what I have used. Okay, I will check up the questions and see what's happening there. Yes, okay, then I want to check our questions a bit. And basically, regarding recording, it will be published later. Minoxidil basically regrow back a lot of my hair because I did solve my inflammation, but it was not enough to get awesome results that I have nowadays, right? So minoxidil, I would say, contributed that I was able to recover almost 100% from my hair loss. Regarding question about pimples in your scalp, what should you do? You can use zinc cream or something. It can be helpful, but it depends on what kind of pimples or what kind of issue you're actually having, right? Because it can be different causes, and you need to find out basically root cause. But on general, zinc cream can help. Regarding question about underlying issues and if there is like in every hair loss different underlying issues, yes, everybody has different underlying issues, and those who are lucky, they have just basically one type of underlying issue, and that's the DHT. But often it's not that simple, right? So often there is inflammation, maybe there's allergies, maybe there's combination of things, right? Because you can have too much sebum and inflammatory hair follicles and external DHT buildups at the same time, right? So there can be many things going on that you need to address and find out what is actually main cause. But let's say if you do take finasteride and it still doesn't help, you still lose hair and don't see results, that basically means that there is something else that's going on at the same time. How do you clean the scalp from the dandruff? Yes, basically you need to find out what is the root cause behind your dandruff, right? Because yes, you can clean scalp away or remove dandruff with, let's say, Kazanol shampoo, right? Like Nizoral, Celsium, or Head and Shoulders even you can use to clean up dandruff, but that dandruff will return, right? So you need to find out what is the main cause behind your dandruff, what is causing it. Question regarding shedding, what you should do about it. As you need to make hair stronger, right? Like for example, when I was having shedding, One way I did it was to use green tea, for example, green tea extract to apply on my scalp. It did help some, but it's not long-term solution. So you need to find out what is main cause of shedding. Maybe it's shedding because you have started with minoxidil application, right? Maybe you have or you have started to take some kind of DHT blockers that's cause shedding, right? So you need to find out what is actually root cause behind your shedding and address it. Because let's say if you just started with treatments, then you may have like a 2 to 6 weeks shedding cycle, or maybe there is scalp inflammation or other things, right? So you basically need to get to the root cause. What would you say is helping you most with the inflammation problem? Like a short term, it did help with the steroid creams, right? But long term, it was basically addressing all the things that could cause inflammation, include diet, include topical environment, right? Because I needed to basically address my diet because of I was getting outbreaks on too much oiliness on my scalp when I was having oily foods. So I needed to remove them from my diet. I also got the tension build up my scalp when I was having like a soda or a Pepsi. I also need to remove that from diet. Right? All those small things I needed to fix to be able to actually get results. Right? Regarding question about scalp massage, I did try scalp massage. Again, this is like something, if you feel that it works for you, then you can do it, right? There is no just time consuming. But unfortunately, for me, it did not work. And if you have seen my previous videos, I have been talking about different ways to address hair regrowth. But scalp massage, I still do it from time to time, but I will not say that it is like something that is contributing to full recovery of my hairs. Regarding his question about gluten, yes, it can possibly lead to, let's say, if you are feeling tension in your scalp or discomfort in your scalp and you are having a diet with a lot of gluten, then you know basically that it may be a problem. But for me, I don't have a problem with gluten. I don't have a problem with dairy, and I have tried to cut them off for a long time, and it still hasn't helped. So at that time, so for me, basically, it doesn't matter. For me, it was more topical related hair loss. And when I understood it and tried to solve it, then it was gone. Let's see, I had one question here about white bulbs. Yes, regarding question about white bulbs, depends on what kind of white bulbs they are, right? Like I mentioned, is yellow bulbs, they can be soft or they can be hard. So the same also applies to white bulbs, right? We need to find out what kind of, are they soft bulbs or hard bulbs? Because those are two different problems. You also need to find out are they big, are they small, right? Because if they are like a mix of white bulbs and sharp endings, then it's maybe not that problematic, right? Maybe you have just a normal shedding cycle. So you need to find out what is actually happening there. About question of topical finasteride and oral finasteride. Topical finasteride is less from what I have here from talking with other guys who are doing topical finasteride. Is it that it is like a less stable than oral finasteride? And I have been taking oral finasteride since 2008, October 2008. So it's almost 12 years. And for me, it has worked perfectly, right? And I have tried Dht for a few months. I got side effects from it, so I got jumped back onto oral finasteride or Propecia in my case, and it has worked great. So I don't see a reason why I should address this problem by topical finasteride, because there are ways. If you clean up your scalp, you basically can remove DHT from the scalp, right? You don't need to block it from the scalp. You block it internally and remove it externally. So this is kind of my thinking about it. A question about which is more effective, 1 mg finasteride daily or 1 mg 3 times a week. I would say, like from my experience, taking it daily for me has been more effective than when I try to take it every other day or a few times a week and so on. But in case of Dht, it was different. When I was taking Dht, I could actually take it. I think I had like every other day or something, every third day. and it worked very well. So it depends on if you're taking just finasteride, then it may be my suggestion would take it daily, but I microdose it. Yes. Any more questions, guys? Okay. If there is no more questions, I will end today's session. Yeah. Okay, guys. And for you who want to join Regrow program, you can schedule a call below this video or the link I put in chat box. Otherwise, we end for the day. And